നമസ്തേ. HSSൻ്റെ സഹസംയോജകനും ഇൻ്റർനാഷണൽ സെൻറ്റർ ഫോർ കൾച്ചറൽ സ്റ്റഡീസിൻ്റെ അമരക്കാരനുമായ ഡോക്ടർ രാം വൈദ്യയാണ് നമ്മുടെ അതിഥിയായി ഇന്ന് എത്തിയിരിക്കുന്നത്. അദ്ദേഹത്തെ സ്നേഹാദരങ്ങളോടെ സ്വാഗതം ചെയ്യുന്നു.
നമസ്തേ.
നമസ്തേ. നമസ്തേ.
നമസ്തേ.
Could you please brief about the activities of International Center for Cultural Studies?
It's a very interesting area to work. I started working in this area since 1995. There was one conference was organized in Nagpur based on the Afro-Hindu affinity. And I read one paper there that what are the similarities between the African culture and the Indian culture, the symbolism behind it. And some fascinating, some revelation came to me that the Africa is very, very close to the Bharat. Very much all the symbolism about our swastika, the Om, even the concept about the reincarnation, rebirth is prevalent in the African culture. And then slowly we realized that not only Africa, everywhere in the world, all the ancient cultures are connected to each other. ICCS, International Center for Cultural Studies, is an effort to bring those cultures together and how can we create some very sustainable narrative which will be beneficial for the future world.
You're traveling all over the world and you are meeting several people, you are studying their culture, their behavior. Could you please share your experiences?
Yes, like I visited Armenia recently, 2 years before, and one of our friend, Naira, she's an Armenian lady. She comes to the Bharat many times. I met her in Delhi, and she said once that, can you come to Armenia, and we have a sun temple there. So initially I thought, what sort of sun temple will be there? But I visited, and there was a beautiful sun temple there. And the name of the deity of sun temple is called Mitra. Okay. In a Surya Namaskar, we all first mantra is Mitraya Namaha. And then I realized that some years before I had one book called Mitraism. That culture was prevalent in the Mediterranean around ocean, sea. And that Mitra is still exactly there. This temple was destroyed by the Christian missionaries according to the plaque written there in the 1200 years before, or 13th century basically. But now when the country became independent, they built up that temple. And so this type of revelation is happening. Once I went to Copenhagen and they took me one of the place on Sunday and they said this is our big massive stone was there. They said our divine stone is there. And as a Nordic culture, we worship that stone maybe 3 or 4 times a year. And the worship was like that. They poured the milk on the stone. And then they chanted some hymns in their own Nordic ancient language. And there was a fire ceremony also, where we offer that fire ceremony with some herbs. And wherever you go in the world now, you see same type of fire ceremonies, same type of river ceremonies, same type of tree ceremonies, sun ceremonies. And very recently in the Oman I went one of the archaeological site, and there is one moon temple, and the deity moon is called Sin, and it is preserved by the Omanese government. Same thing, we found sun temple near in UAE now, near Al Quwain Emirates, and all these are preserved, very well known centers. And this news came in Khalij Times, and after that I visited that temple. So these are the very fascinating points. So right from Colombia in South America to even today's USA, all parts of the Europe, Africa, in the Southeast Asia, up to the New Zealand, the Maori culture, the same thread you see about ancient cultures.
So everywhere in the world, there are remnants of Bharat culture.
Bharat culture, I don't know, but definitely is a dharmic culture. And Bharat is the base of the dharma. In that way can be Bharat culture, but dharmic culture. Dharma means the principle of sustainability and connectivity, not the religion as such. And all those cultures they believe, they promote the sustainability, they promote connectivity, and they say that we all are part and parcel of the whole world. Like famous Aztec is a Mayan culture, everybody knows. There's a saying called Mitakuye Oyasin, means we all are connected. And therefore, when we think that we are connected, then we realize that we all really are part and parcel of the one dharmic culture. In the UK, we organize one tree gathering every year with the Druid community. Druid was a culture of in the England, Britain, in the part of the France, Brittany, England, and the Ireland.
Okay.
And that Druid and we together we meet every year. And one of the elder of that one, he always mentioned to Mr. Ram, whenever you talk about the Hindu culture, I always think that you are talking about my culture. That much similarity is there. And that's why I think is a Bharat culture more than as a dharmic culture or is a universal culture.
How they value their relationship with Bharat?
Very much. One of the elder I met in Brittany, in the France, when I visited that one, he was an old man sitting on the sofa, and when I went, he started crying. And I asked him, what happened? Then his son told me that he always felt, what is the future of our Druid culture? So his father told this old man, don't worry, one time the person from the Bharat, India will come. And with the India as a base, entire universal culture will prosper. And you came today. And before me, there was another person also came, went there. Same thing happened to him as well. And that's why the Bharat will be the key to bring all those cultures together. We do it. Like every 3 years, we organize one international seminar with all those cultures together. Last physical seminar was in the Mumbai, where 33 cultures came together. Shinto from Japan to Maori, from the New Zealand, Australian culture, European culture, many European culture. Same Africa, Yoruba is from Nigeria, Kikuyu from the Kenya, Zulu from the South Africa, to all the American culture. And they all come together. And they stayed for 5 days together, like that. And the themes of the different conferences are brilliant. Like one theme was spirituality beyond religion. So we need to think beyond religion, some spiritual things. Last Mumbai conference was the divinity in the femininity. We always believe in the Mata concept, Bhumi Mata, Ganga Mata, Bharat Mata. And that's why this Mata concept, the feminine divinity, is the great concept, and which is very prevalent in almost all the cultures. Like in Druid, they believe that the entire greenery, this is called Mata, mother. And therefore in the beginning of the autumn in the UK, the one mother wears all the green clothes and all the things, and she comes. That was a ritual before. And still happening that one. So having this mother nature concept is prevalent, and that's why we are working towards that.
Even the new generation is also influenced by
very much
all these things.
Very much. Like in every year, if you come to UK, in certain days, summer solstice and the winter solstice, hundreds and thousands of youngsters, they come together, they do fire ceremony. And they believe that. When they believe that, when this is the future of the religion, more and more people are coming. Still, there is still resistance from the major religions of the world. But I think people will come up, youth also.
What they value the most?
Like for example, in the UK, our team is mostly below the 40 years old, all entire team. Nobody is elder as such. So they are all under 40, all are professional, all are good students, and they are working for that one. What they value most? They value most that they think that we need to create the history now. And history should not be conditioned with certain religious, theological thought. It has to be developed as such, as a most philosophical way, most advanced way. And this future should be governed by the eternal values, which is natural values. More and more people have become vegan in the society now. There are more practicing the environment friendliness. They want that. There should be freedom. There should be more connectedness with each other. This is the future thought process now. And if this thought process is there in the future, this type of thought cultures will be prevalent.
What we are lacking in this case, do you think that the new generation is is moving towards
lack of knowledge.
spirituality,
Lack of knowledge. If you scratch the surface of any youth, every youth is a spiritual. But you don't ask them, you don't have give the access to them. I have experienced that one. If you talk about Vedanta, if you talk about spirituality, talk about Atma, the purpose of your life, they love it. But we don't talk to these topics to them. And I do every day with the youth. And I realize that when they do not like all this fishy-fashy dancing and jumping here and there. They do it because there is nothing like that, nothing other than their experience. But you make them sit and scratch the surface, they will open up and their inner voice will come out. That voice will be the divine voice, spiritual voice. And every youth, one nice story I can tell you. I went to France, one of the school, and there was one, I was to teach the philosophy there, and one of the classroom, I was invited. He said, this classroom is very naughty, never indisciplined, and never listens to us. Can you just address this class? When I went, there were some typical people. I could smell the drug, I could smell the alcohol, I could smell the smoke in that whole class. And one guy, very stout, having so many tattoos and Mohican cut and so many typical latest fashion, whatever you think of, and came here and sat like a gangster, something like that. And I was talking to him. I just put my hand on his shoulder. And after 5-10 minutes, he started, sir. So the teacher initially thought he is disturbing me. I said, no, let him talk. And then from his bag, he brought one book. And the book was Secret of Happiness by Dalai Lama. And it was a second-hand book. And that person brought this book. He said, I bought the book because I need happiness. And first time he said, you got someone who was talking to about this topic. Initially, outwardly, people will think, it's a completely gone case. But he also had this type of mindset that I want to become spiritual. And that is the hope for future.
Vedas and Upanishads are taught in other universities, foreign universities.
Some years. But more than that, the Chinmay Mission, the Arsha Vidya Gurukulam, we have so many gurukuls and teaching also. Okay, they teach Vedanta, Upanishads in a very modern way. And I will tell you that the 99% of the audience is only youth. Those are born, brought up there. Like in UK, Chinmay Mission run, in USA, Chinmay Mission run, Arsha Vidya Gurukulam. The people attend, they are all born, brought up, very modern, very all professional or college-going students. 99% are only youth.
But the situation in India is different.
Here also, you can go any good Gurukul here, good ashram here, you will only find a youth there. Only you should have a good matter, good content, and you should be honest. Then people will come to you. You should not talk rubbish. You should not talk just on the surface. Your honesty will be reflected, and then you will see in Bharat also. And that's why you see so many new movements, which are spiritual movements, are prospering. Why? Not because of old people, because of you young people only. You go to Arya Samaj, who are the people there? Young. You go to Ramdev Baba Ashram, who are studying there? Are young. We have 200 Gurukuls in Bharat.
Are they
who
dedicated?
Are studying there? Very much. In the 200 Gurukuls, who are studying? Only youngsters. But this thing we don't know. Many people do not know. And that's why those are behind. And Gurukuls are always behind. They don't go behind the publicity. Because that's why they should be always hidden somewhere. That was our Rishi Samstha concept. So the revival is coming up in the universe, in the world, with the cultural, on the culture basis.
In what all means spirituality can reshape the life of an individual?
Spirituality means knowing yourself. 4 questions spirituality asks. Who am I? What is the world around me? What is the relation between me and my world? And what is the purpose of my life? These 4 questions are very important questions, basic questions of any human life. And therefore, if these questions are asked, I cannot be derailed or deviated from my good life. And that's why spirituality is not something sitting somewhere in the jungle or in the forest and meditating. Spirituality means you think of yourself, how you are, who you are, what is the purpose of your life, what is the true nature of yourself. And if you answer this question, if you inquire these questions, our path become very great path. We become more close to society. We become good family man. We become good businessman if you are spiritual. If you want to do good business, you need to be spiritual. If you want to run even the good country or the state, you need to be spiritual. The spiritual person become like Bhagavad Gita also, Krishna Bhagavan said, you become more efficient. Yoga karmasu kaushalam. You become excellent in your actions by the yoga.
But in the postmodern world, many are disappointed and they can't attain their goals. Do you think that spirituality is
can help them?
Okay, the solution?
Them. Yeah, any solution. You don't become a weak, you become a strong. If I lose the job, I become a weak if I think of the job. Even if I lose the job, how can I remain as a strong? That spiritual will tell you. In the very hardest time of our life, how to remain as a strong. That's why spirituality is necessary.
I'm wondering, even in the state of globalization, the youths are attracted by all these things.
It was always attracted by some these new things like television or mobile or technology, something like that. Fine. There's nothing wrong in that one. We should be attracted. And we should use these mediums to spread this dharma. So we should not shy away from any any new techniques, new technology. But all those things can be utilized for the benefit of humanity. I truly believe that the new generation is much, much better than the last generation. And therefore, these values are eternal, these are universal, and these will be upheld always in the world, in the Bharat also. The format will be different. The way we do it may be different, but those values won't go. The family values won't go. And we see in our films also, in the drama, in the poetry, the film and the drama which are showing these values are always permanently admired. Others may come and go, but these values should be, very much admired. So I am very much optimistic about even the Bharat also. These values will never die. Rather, these values will become a future, very modern values in the future.
So there is an answer for everything.
Yes. Dharma is the answer. And dharma means that connectivity and the sustainability. And if dharma means that which will hold the society, the family, all the species, all the languages, all religions, everything can be easily upheld by the dharma concept. And this dharma is the eternal and universal. I went to Lithuania, and Lithuania, that Lithuanian language, which is very close to Russian language, they have exactly same word, dharma, for the sustainability. And that's why the dharma is the key and solution for the future world.
Which philosopher influenced you the most?
Not one, but many. Vedanta, Shankaracharya, Adi Shankaracharya, myself, who's from Kerala basically.
Kerala.
Yeah. Adi Shankaracharya was basically. And therefore, if you read, understand Adi Shankaracharya, you will have all the answers.
Kerala is the land of Adi Shankaracharya, but unfortunately, Sanatana Dharma is marginalized here, and Hindutva is ill-treated. How can we overcome this? Why it happens in Kerala?
It is the land of Shankaracharya. It is many saints happened here. Narayan Guru also was born in this part of the world. I feel politics we should keep aside. And we should work on the society level. And the society we should work. Just believe in young generation.
Okay.
Education, samskar part of that one, family values. And each and every family will be very much keen about with their kids. I think it will be great. And that's why the solution of any problem is not working on the problem, but working beyond the problem.
But Kerala's predicament is very disappointing.
It will change. It will change. Everything, not Kerala only, everything will change. Only we need to find. We need to, I think this interview can help them to find, to search the good answers, right answers for the any problem, individual problem, societal problem, any environmental problem, any scientific problem, economical problem. You name any problem. Solution is in the Dharma.
You are a Sanskrit scholar. The importance of Sanskrit language is not highlighted. What can we do in this area?
Now it is much better than before. It was initially called as a dead language. People used to call it dead, but it was a never dead language. But it was quite demeaned, and some people, there's no jobs for the Sanskrit. And very few people used to study Sanskrit. I chose Sanskrit because I want to work something in the Sanskrit field. To do something Sanskrit work, very simple way that Sanskrit to be a spoken language. And that's why the Sanskrit Bharati movement started, I think in 1984, that time. They created this thing. Sanskrit is the language of all.
Okay.
It's not a language of one community or one people who believe in one religion. It's a language. It's a beautiful language. It's one of the oldest language. And that's why it is nice to learn the Sanskrit. Like in UK, there is a school called St. James's School, and they teach Sanskrit in this class. Once I asked them, their director, why do you teach Sanskrit and how do you explain them? They gave me two logics, that Sanskrit, by learning Sanskrit, you will have the access to the most ancient literature of the world. And you will develop your analytical mindset. And in that way, the Sanskrit can be promoted in a very universal language and in the spoken way. Okay. I think then those efforts will be a great effort. I think Janam TV started, you just mentioned that every day some 15 minutes Sanskrit news. That's a very remarkable the effort.
It's a divine language, Sanskrit. But not much importance is given.
It happened in many places, in many times. When this, I can tell you one thing, in England also, English was not spoken before. And if you speak English, you are not something great. Okay. If you speak French, then it was great. Only the few community used to speak. Then the movement happened, and now the English is spoken everywhere. Hebrew also was not something common, but the Jewish community decided that it will become our language. Even the smallest country like Denmark, maybe Sweden, small population, but they developed entire science, entire knowledge in that language. We can also do it. The only spirit and mindset is required. That's it. We focus on the positivity, positives will happen. If we focus on it won't happen, then it never happen. So we focus on positivity. It will become a language of that everybody will speak, everybody will entertain. All our literature, even the medical science, engineering, everything will be in Sanskrit. There are people now here in Bharat, they do PhDs, zoology, botany, in Sanskrit. So when these type of situations and the traditions where trends will start, I think this language will become the normal language.
Journeys are your inspiration.
Yeah. Meeting with the people, talking to people, understanding, seeing them, and seeing the aspirational values in them.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Namaste.